Article 370 was a constitutional provision that granted special status to the state of Jammu and Kashmir in India. It was introduced in 1949 as a temporary measure and was expected to be revoked after the state's Constituent Assembly finalized the constitution. However, the provision remained in place for over 70 years until it was finally abrogated by the Indian government on August 5, 2019. Under Article 370, the state of Jammu and Kashmir had a separate constitution, flag, and the power to make its own laws. The provision also restricted the Indian government's authority to legislate on matters other than defense, foreign affairs, and communications. This gave the state a significant degree of autonomy and led to the development of a distinct political culture in the region. However, Article 370 was also controversial, with many arguing that it was a barrier to the integration of Jammu and Kashmir with the rest of India. Critics argued that the special status granted to the state had prevented its full economic and political integration with the rest of the country. The provision was also criticized for allowing the state government to discriminate against non-residents, particularly in matters of land ownership and employment. The Indian government's decision to revoke Article 370 was met with both support and opposition. Supporters argue that it will lead to greater economic development and integration of the region with the rest of India. They also argue that it will help to reduce terrorism and separatism in the region. However, critics argue that the move is an attack on the state's autonomy and that it will lead to increased tensions and violence. The revocation of Article 370 has also been accompanied by a significant increase in the presence of Indian security forces in the region, as well as restrictions on the movement and communication of the local population. These measures have been criticized by human rights organizations, who argue that they constitute a violation of the right to freedom of movement and expression. In conclusion, Article 370 was a controversial provision that granted special status to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Its revocation has been met with both support and opposition, and the long-term consequences of the move are yet to be seen.